Here we are on the surface of Mars. Nah, just kidding. It's pumpkin pie.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I'm your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve. And this is going to be just a real easy one this time around for a video. I'm just going to talk about the records that I found last month, the month of February. And I do have another tag video coming up, and like I keep saying, it's leading up to something. Got a few Psych things, got one jazz record, got some garage rock and new wave, like 10 albums that I'm going to talk about this time around. So I'm just going to get into it. This is Music Emporium, which is a self-pressed 60s Psych record reissued by Sundazed on CD. They did the Nam Yo Renge Kyo song. And this is a pretty rockin' album. The bonus tracks are instrumental versions, like maybe demos or something, but instrumental versions of songs that are already on the album. But it does stretch it out a little bit. But yeah, Music Emporium. They're a pretty good band. I forgot where they're from. Well, it's got a booklet. I'll get around to reading it sooner or later. Okay. And this next one is also a compact disc, because this one is pretty tough to find on vinyl, though one of my colleagues was extremely lucky and did find it. This band, they're from Connecticut. They're called Yesterday's Children. And look at this bonkers album cover. But yeah, I had to buy this CD because I was playing the hell out of this on Spotify, and it disappeared from Spotify, which, you know, anything important, you got to get a physical copy, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen with licensing and stuff if you're just streaming all your music. But I love this album, especially two songs, especially the song Sailing, which is a total stone groove, and a song called What of I, which was also done by a band called Wilkinson Tricycle. But this version's a little slower and a little harder rocking than Wilkinson Tricycle's version. If you know which one was first, if you know of any connection between Yesterday's Children and Wilkinson's Tricycle, tell me in the comments. That'd be cool, man. All right. In the same realm, on vinyl, nice Gerson reissue of Creation of Sunlight. And there's a booklet of liner notes inside it. But this is one of them special rare Psych records. It's some of it kind of reminds me of Strawberry Alarm Clock, but there's a couple of hard edge songs. 7 Times Infinity has been one of my favorite songs for a long time, so I'm really glad to have a record of this album. Here's the thing. A lot of listings and a lot of people call the band Creation of Sunlight. But turns out, according to this, the band was actually called Sunlight. And Creation of Sunlight was just the album title. Either way, good record. Well, and this is one of those special jazz reissues on Blue Note. This is the Rump Roller by Lee Morgan. If you saw my video way back where I go to Amoeba with Mystery Matt and we're talking about, I start talking about this mixtape that has this song Eclipso, and this song has been totally stuck in my head like an earworm. So I'm like, I need this record. And I looked on Discogs, found a really good deal. This is the remastered by Kevin Gray UMG Blue Note reissue from 2020. And this sounds really nice. It sounds really clean. But yeah, I was really stoked to find this. All right. Going back to the Bay Area garage rock scene of about 10 years ago. This band is called the Saucy Jacks. The Saucy Jacks, and that is a reference to Spinal Tap, if you didn't already know. I mean, watch Spinal Tap again if you don't catch the reference. But the Saucy Jacks, they were kind of on the power pop side musically, with catchy melodies and nice harmonies, but some relatively snarky lyrics, like when the axe comes down and you make your own world. But yeah, this is a pretty fun record here. The Saucy Jacks. All right. This is another one I picked up. Medication is the name of the artist. I think it's one guy just doing home recordings. And I picked it up because it was cheap and because it was on the Hozak label. And as far as garage rock, anything on Hozak is good. So I grabbed this. It says here, all songs written, performed, and recorded to cassette 4-track by Mikey Hyde. And it's got that lo-fi kind of sound, 2009 kind of garage home recording sound. But it's some rockin' tunes. I gotta listen to this one a bit more to really talk about it. But this is cool. All right. Little something kind of retro. I always see this in the bargain bins. I was thinking in the future of doing a video about these albums. In the late 70s, there were a bunch of albums that were like live plus studio. Like they had like half an album's worth of studio tracks, and they used live recordings to fill it up. But this is there was a long hiatus between Seventh Sojourn and Octave of like several years. And this album was put out by London Records to kind of fill the gap. And the first three sides of it are a live show from 1969. And then the fourth side of it are some leftover tracks that were recorded in the late 60s that didn't make it onto albums. And it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting how raw these live recordings are compared to their very meticulously crafted studio albums. I mean, there's no London Symphony Orchestra, just lots of Mellotron, and yeah, they do the early tunes, you know, Tuesday Afternoon, Nights in White Satin, etc., etc. I got 3 records left, and this is I'm going to shift gears. These are some new wave records. This one, I had the EP, but I wanted to get the whole album. This band, Moev, Canadian, started out kind of synth pop, minimal synth, and then got more industrial. But this is their first album. The original lineup of the band with the female singer on Go Records. Zimmer Kampf. I think on CD it's like Mo of early years. But this is really nice. If you like Susie and the Banshees, this is kind of similar, but more of an electronic base to the music. This next one is one I used to have. Clark Kent. And Clark Kent on the IRS label. Clark Kent was actually Stuart Copeland when he was the drummer for the Police. This was a side project where I think he played all the instruments, and the songs are kind of funny. Some of the lyrics, you might know Don't Care on the No Wave compilation that I showed recently. But here's the thing about this record. It's actually a 10-inch. The green vinyl thing. See, it's made out of kryptonite. Okay, this last record, and it's another early 80s new wave record. And you know what's on everybody's mind these days is politics. But we gotta remember The Politics of Dancing by Reflex. Another, I guess you call them synth pop. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I expected this record to be a lot more cheesy than it actually is, but this has got some solid grooves. Praying to the beat, and of course the title track. But yeah, The Politics of Dancing. Oh, the politics of ooh, feeling good. See, capital. They were capitalists.
You know, I probably shouldn't have to tell you this, but like this video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And if you're new here, watch some of Steve's other videos because they're probably a lot better than this one and you haven't seen them yet.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna do the 2025 vinyl tag next week. I've been lazy about making notes and answering the questions, so I'm gonna try to do that next week, and then the week after that will be the thing that we're leading up to, which if you've watched me for years and years, you might be able to guess. I appreciate y'all, and I'm really glad that you're here watching my channel, that I can just kind of share what kind of music I'm rocking out to when I'm sitting here in this dungeon. And
Show and tell, just a game I play when I want to show you some records. So like and subscribe, and you'll see them next time too. Oh.
you know, show and tell.